Have you ever wondered how a tiny little bottle opener can pop off a stubborn cap? Or how you can lift someone who's way heavier than you on a seesaw? Well, the answer is all around us, kind of hidden in plain sight. So today, let's dive into the simple but super powerful science of levers. Okay, this might sound like a riddle, right? What in the world do a big, heavy-duty crowbar and your own arm have in common? The truth is, they're both incredible, simple machines. And by the end of this, you're going to see exactly how they work the same kind of magic. So let's start with a classic problem. Picture this. You're out on a hike and there's this massive boulder. It's completely blocking your path and you've got to move it. So what do you do first? You use brute force, right? You lean into it. You push with everything you've got and nothing. Absolutely nothing. The rock doesn't even wiggle. Your effort alone just isn't going to cut it. But then you spot a long, sturdy stick. An idea pops into your head. You wedge one end under the rock, prop it up on a smaller stone, and then you just push down on the other end. And just like that, the huge rock lifts up. You didn't magically get stronger. You just got a whole lot smarter. And that stick you just used? Well, that's a lever. It's one of the most basic and, honestly, most powerful tools in all of human history. Its entire job is to amplify your force, letting you do way more work with way less effort.
So how does this magic actually work? Well, it's not magic at all, it's just some really clever physics. You see, every single lever, from a pair of scissors to a fishing rod, is made of the same three secret ingredients.
Okay, first you've got the fulcrum. That's just the pivot point, like the little stone we used. Then there's the effort, that's you, pushing or pulling. And finally, you have the load, which is the thing you're trying to move, like our big old rock. Fulcrum, effort, load. That's the whole shebang. Now, here is the most important part to get your head around. A lever doesn't create energy out of thin air. It just makes a trade, a really good trade. You move your end of the lever a longer distance so that you can move the heavy load a shorter distance, but with so much more force. It's such a brilliant trade-off. The absolute best way to picture this is a seesaw. You know this from the playground, right? If you're trying to lift up a heavier friend, where do you sit? You move farther away from the middle, from that pivot point. By increasing your distance from the fulcrum, you literally multiply the power of your push. Every single lever uses this exact same principle. Now, it turns out that the order of those three ingredients, the fulcrum, the load, and the effort, is what really matters. And depending on which part is in the middle, we can sort every lever in the entire universe into one of three classes. All right, let's start with class 1. This is the classic setup. This is the one you probably think of first. For a class 1 lever, the fulcrum is sitting right there in the middle. So you apply your effort on one side of the fulcrum, and that moves the load on the other side. Just think of our seesaw, or that rock and stick example. You push down on one side, and the other side goes up. Simple, effective. And you see these things everywhere. A seesaw, obviously. A pair of scissors. That little screw in the middle is the fulcrum. Pliers, a crowbar. All of them are classic Class 1 levers. Okay, next up is the Class 2 lever. Now, the arrangement gets switched up a little bit. This time, the load is what we're going to find in the middle.
So for this one, the fulcrum is at one end. You apply your effort all the way at the other end, and the heavy load sits somewhere in between. And let me tell you, this setup is a fantastic force multiplier. Think about a wheelbarrow. The wheel is the fulcrum, all the heavy stuff you put inside is the load, and you lift up on the handles. That's the effort. Nutcrackers, bottle openers, even a door works this way. They always make you stronger. And that brings us to our final category, Class 3. Now, you might think this one is kind of weird, but you've actually been using one your entire life. In this class, the effort is what's applied in the middle. So with this one, the fulcrum is at one end, the load is at the other, and you apply your force somewhere between them. A perfect example? Your own arm. Your elbow is the fulcrum. Whatever you're holding in your hand is the load, and your bicep muscle provides the effort right there in the middle. Now these levers, they don't multiply your force. Instead, they multiply speed and distance. A fishing rod, a broom, a pair of tweezers, they all let a small movement of your hand create a big, fast movement at the other end. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, let's put it all together in a super quick summary, just to lock it in. Class 1 has the fulcrum in the middle, it can multiply force or speed. Class 2 has the load in the middle, it always multiplies your force. And Class 3 has the effort in the middle, and it's all about multiplying speed and your range of motion.
Now that you know the three classes, I promise you're going to start seeing them absolutely everywhere. Let's do a quick fire round and spot them out in the wild.
That bottle opener? That's a textbook Class 2 lever. The little edge resting on the cap is the fulcrum. The part of the cap you're lifting is the load, and your hand pulling up, that's the effort. It multiplies your force and pops that cap right off.
And when you're sweeping the floor, that broom is a pure Class 3 lever. A small, quick movement from your hand in the middle creates a long, fast sweep at the bottom. It lets you cover a whole lot of ground really quickly. So, after all that, if you're going to remember just one single thing about how to get the most power out of a lever, what should it be? Let's boil everything down to one single master rule. This is it. This is the golden rule. It doesn't matter if you're using a crowbar or a wrench or a seesaw. The farther away you apply your force from that pivot point, the more power you will have. It really is the secret to making hard work feel easy. So there you have it. You've got the blueprint now. The world is basically full of these incredible hidden machines, from the door you walk through to the scissors on your desk. So the only question left is, now that you know the science, what lever will you use next?